Muskoka continues to avoid any new COVID-19 infections for now. Graydon Smith provides an update on the new arena project in Bracebridge. And COVID-19 isn't stopping the arts in Muskoka. All that and more coming up right now. Welcome to Cogeco News for April 23rd. I'm James Bowler with what's happening in your community. Well, Muskoka has now gone 3 days without seeing a confirmed case of COVID-19 and nearly a week without seeing an active case, according to the Simcoe Muskoka District Health Unit. 2 people out of the 16 confirmations are still recovering but are in self-isolation. This as provincial numbers point to a dip and stronger proof that Ontario may have hit the peak in the infection rate. However, health officials are still saying we should take this with a grain of salt. And while COVID-19 still tends to be the hot topic around most council tables, Bracebridge is taking a moment to celebrate a recent win regarding the proposed multi-use community centre. Our own Samantha Johnson spoke with Mayor Graydon Smith about this update.
This is, a big multi-step process, obviously, getting something this big put together. And we've gone through a number of initial rough designs, and we've moved it along through schematic design now and looked at a lot of the components in a fairly detailed way, but not the final design. So this has allowed us to really take a look at the layouts and where everything will be and how it will be configured. And council passed that yesterday, so that allows us to move into our final design phase, which should be ready sometime in the summer. And it keeps us on the timeline that we've been trying to stay tight to, which would allow us to open in late summer or very early fall in 2022.
And so also right now you're waiting on a few things, I'm assuming, for funds to come through. Talk about that as well.
Well, I don't know what COVID-19 means for the internal government process, and that's been a bit of a challenge for us because we were hoping to hear by the end of the winter from the province what projects they would nominate forward to the federal government and then get that final stamp of approval. And if we could get that, obviously, sooner rather than later, that's great because we're still going down a parallel set of tracks, planning for either the full facility or, if we don't get the funding, the arena and kind of the community, hall portion, that foyer portion. So it would be nice to know exactly what we're going to build and exactly who's going to be contributing. And hopefully that answer will come sooner rather than later. But I can tell you that we've done all the preparation that we can in terms of getting information into the hands of the government. And I think something that hopefully will work in our favor is that once we start getting out of this very confusing time period, the government is going to want to stimulate the economy with spending, and we've got a shovel-ready project. So we hope that moves us even further up the list of projects that they would fund.
Now we'll talk about the COVID relief fund. So talk about what that entails and I guess who it applies to.
So we've established a $40,000 fund, and council approved that yesterday, and we want to be there to help nonprofits and other agencies in the community that help others. So those other groups, whether it's food banks or nonprofits and other groups that do such great work with different sectors of Bracebridge already, they're the ones that are experts at it. We just want to make sure that they have adequate funding because we know at a time like this, donations can also, dip, and it can be hard on the best of days for some of these groups to keep a steady funding stream. So really, there's a number of categories, and the process is fairly simple, and they could check with the town to get more information to see if they qualify. But we'll be doing a first round of intake, and we'll see where it goes from here. If it turns out that money goes pretty quickly, and it's felt that more money is needed for that type of community support, we'll take a look at it again. I'm not going to make any promises, of course, on behalf of council, but again, we want to be doing our part to make sure that these wonderful groups that support so many in our community can keep doing that.
We are taking our first break, but when we come back, a look at some downsides that some Ontarios might be facing if they apply for the Canada Emergency Fund. Welcome back. And joining me now from her home in what I'm told is sunny and snowless Windsor is MPP Lisa Gretzky, the NDP's provincial critic for community and social services. Lisa, thank you very much for taking the time today.
Thanks for having me on.
So, Lisa, we're going to be talking about a pretty important topic here, and that is the social services benefits that are being offered to Ontarians right now. And there's an issue here that you've brought forward concerning the CERB. And people that may also be receiving social assistance. So if you can kind of run me through what the province is looking at doing here, Lisa.
So what the province has announced it's going to do is that anybody who is on social assistance, specifically Ontario Works, that they will have, if they claim the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit, that they will have either a portion of that clawed back or the entire amount clawed back by the provincial government. So the government has left it for weeks with people having uncertainty. The recipients and, frankly, the caseworkers that administer the program didn't know how they were supposed to be dealing with the CERB benefit, whether it was to be deducted or not. Finally, there was a little bit of direction, but it was still not really clear. And now the government has come forward and said that this federal benefit that is supposed to help everybody who has lost a job due to COVID-19, that the provincial government is going to claw back some or all of that from social assistance recipients and put that money into the provincial bank account, basically. So they're making money off of the backs of people, very low income earners that are on social assistance.
Yeah, from what I understand from the announcement that you made, you raised the red flag on this. 50 cents to $1, is that right?
So it depends on which of the two benefit programs you're on, whether it's ODSP, the Ontario Disability Support Program, or Ontario Works. I want to note, though, that a lot of people that are on Ontario Works are people who are awaiting the approval to be on the disability support program. So a lot of them have disabilities and have managed to work a little bit while dealing with their disability, trying to work around that disability. So if you are on Ontario Works, as of March 1st, so if you were already on the benefit of Ontario Works as of March 1st, then what the government has said they will do is they will allow $200 in earnings, so that if you get the CERB benefit, they'll allow you to keep $200 of that, and then everything after that $200 is clawed back by the provincial government at 50 cents on the dollar. If you were approved and receiving Ontario Works after March 1st, so that approval happened after the March 1st deadline, then the government is going to claw back the CERB benefit dollar for dollar rather than the 50%. So either way, they're taking money back and they're putting it back into the provincial coffers rather than allowing that benefit to flow to people and support them like the federal government had intended to do.
Yeah, this is obviously an issue because these people are just as much in need as anyone else in the province, and this handout from the federal government was meant to be a lifeline, now acting like a way for the province to kind of put money back away again.
Yeah, and anybody that's on ODSP, they don't have the same March 1st deadline. So if you were on ODSP prior to March 1st, or if you got into approved and onto the ODSP program after March 1st, all of those people would qualify for the $200 exemption, which was already in place, income exemption, which was already in place pre-COVID-19. This is not something new that the government's doing. And then they would automatically get the 50% exemption. So they would never experience the dollar for dollar clawback, but they still get the 50% clawback from the province. So again, I want to point out, these are people with disabilities who already struggle getting out into community, and able to find work that they're physically able to do and keep that job, frankly. The cost of everything has gone up. I know here, and I know the north, up north, things are even more expensive than they are down here. But the cost of things has gone up due to COVID-19. The cost of groceries has gone up. To have groceries delivered is expensive. If you're in a situation like we are here, where we now have no public transit, so our mayor has canceled all buses, people have to take taxis. So this is a real hit. And in other regions where they've scaled back public transit, we're finding that people that have disabilities and those that are low income are having trouble accessing public transit, and the cost of them even getting to work, if they're essential workers, because many are, is becoming more and more expensive. And yet this provincial government, instead of giving them the money that the federal government intended them to have, has decided that this is a great way for the province to make money. And it's completely unacceptable.
So, Lisa, my question is, does the Ontario NDP, do you guys either have, or are you working on a sort of an alternative plan to bring forward to the Ford government?
Yeah, so we've actually always advocated for social assistance rates to be raised. Social assistance rates took a huge hit, huge cut under the Mike Harris Conservative government. The previous Liberals have never reinstated funding and kept up with the actual cost of living. So we have for a long time advocated for rate increases to social assistance to make it a livable income for people. So we're continuing through this pandemic to highlight the fact that things are more expensive now and that people need to have that extra income. We've also asked the provincial government to not claw back any of the CERB benefit from people who are receiving ODSP and OW. We've asked the government to recognize that many of these people have disabilities and have added costs because of COVID-19. We've also asked that they have an emergency benefit that people can apply for, which in itself is a very difficult thing to do. So they have a $100 emergency benefit that people have to get in touch with their worker in order to get. The deadline is the end of this month, the end of April. The government has not said they will extend the deadline. It's a one-time $100 emergency benefit. And we're saying that should be a $300 a month automatic benefit, not a one-time benefit, a $300 a month, and it should be automatic. Everybody that is on social assistance should get it. And again, to end the clawbacks to the federal benefit. So when somebody on OW or ODSP qualifies for the CERB benefit, we're saying that the provincial government should not be making money off the back of these vulnerable people, that everybody should be able to keep their full benefit.
All right. Lisa, thank you very much. Really hope to see a resolution come forward here that benefits everyone. I appreciate you taking the time, Lisa, and we thank you for your input on this.
Thank you. Have a good day and stay safe.
All right, Lisa Gretzky from Windsor, thank you very much again. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back. Some drivers in Huntsville may be feeling a bit of deja vu while heading down King William. King William is back to being dissected once again as the district continues its work from last summer to replace the aging infrastructure below the surface. Despite the influence of COVID-19 affecting some construction work, this particular rehabilitation was deemed essential, allowing the district to kick off work right on schedule, according to manager Mark Misko.
We'd messaged earlier this year that we'd like to start as early as possible. We're ahead. There's still half load restrictions on the roadways. This road is exempt outside of those restrictions anyway, so we can start as early as possible. We're fortunate in that we didn't have a recurrence last year of the high water levels that we saw come through the entire district. So we were able to start a bit earlier, and the weather's been, I would say, kinder than most years coming out of winter to us. So we were able to start optimistically as early as we wanted to on this one. And, we got the construction mobilized out there.
But that does mean major detours once again, closures, and some struggles for local businesses.
To be honest, it's tough to tell exactly when those closures will be lifted, but we are using a staged approach to these closures. So we still have that phasing that was originally part of the contract. You're seeing between Ferry and Can Street at this point. So we'd be opening those up as the job progressed forward and as they become available for full traffic operations. So there are some localized shutdowns now. Part of that is to try and accelerate the schedule on this job. Another part is that they've really been challenged to find another laydown area that's sufficiently close to the job. So they are storing some material within the job site, and that's necessitating the need for some of the operational or traffic constraints you're seeing.
So the question is, will this work be completed as originally planned by the end of this year?
It is construction, so it's tough to say exactly what the future holds. There's no magic crystal ball that we can give a firm end date on this, but we're looking at as many options as we can to accelerate the schedule. One of those being you'll see them working out there this Saturday. So we're starting to extend some of the working hours. And then the Saturdays moving forward, there's also some potential to work there. So we're going to take that on a week-to-week basis to try and maintain the schedule as much as possible. We're always looking at different construction methods and options to see if we can accelerate the work. If we can, we'd love to.
Well, we're back to the break, but stay tuned for more after this. Welcome back. Well, the artistic spirit in Huntsville may have also been put in quarantine, but that's not stopping the Huntsville Festival of the Arts from finding new ways to bring you some great shows. The Algonquin Theatre is closed, and that means no productions or concerts for the foreseeable future. That puts the Huntsville Festival of the Arts in a difficult position, as the organization is unable to start ramping up its summer programming for the 2020 season. However, Executive Director of Huntsville Festival of the Arts, Dan Watson, says they're working on creative and alternate ways to continue bringing shows to Muskoka.
That's part of the difficulty, is just the uncertainty and how, planning things out and what can we count on, what can we not. I know this for sure, it's not going to be a traditional summer season the way that we've been doing them before. So we're definitely going to be active. What that's going to look like is going to be tough, and obviously for the festival, the health and safety of people is the first and foremost consideration. So we're going to be releasing some announcements over the next couple weeks once we start to see a little bit more, what it's going to look like. But until then, we're just, like everybody else, trying to figure this out as we go. We have a series also of Zoom concerts. So these concerts take place over Zoom as opposed to a traditional kind of live stream over Facebook. And what's nice about that is that you get to see other people's faces. You get to feel that feeling that you do in a concert where, you're all together watching so it's a different kind of feeling. And so we're going to be presenting some online concerts, our hashtag Stay Home virtual concerts. On May 3rd, we have the Young Novelists, which are an amazing folk duo. Twin Flames is on May 10th. And then we're doing a special, it's basically a class reunion. It's called the Black Hole Quarantine Reunion Concert. And that's bringing back people who went to Huntsville High School from the 90s. We used to do this monthly cabaret series. And so we're all going to get online, and we're going to do the same thing where people over Zoom, people get to present and do songs, poetry, whatever it might be. And we're raising funds for the local food banks.
And we are taking our last break, but stay tuned for, again, a familiar face coming to Cogeco News.
entertainment seekers, and welcome back to a special quarantine edition of Muskoka on Stage. The theaters may be closed and you may be stuck at home, but that doesn't mean there's any shortage of local entertainment. Get your filling of folk from the comfort of your home with the Young Novelists. This Toronto duo will be performing for Muskoka's entertainment fans through Zoom on May 3rd, and you can find more details by going to Huntsville Festival of the Arts Facebook page. And if you're looking for a more local vibe with a fundraising feel, why not either watch or take part in the Black Hole? Huntsville Festival of the Arts is calling artists who went to Huntsville High School between 1990 and 2000 to perform in this retro 90s feel event. and proceeds will be going to local charities. If you're interested in dusting off the musical equipment, reach out to Dan Watson and put your name in. But hurry, applications close this Friday. And get your tickets now for a very special virtual concert from Twin Flames. Twin Flames pushes the boundaries of contemporary folk with Indigenous Inuit influenced songs that incorporate both Western and traditional instruments. Tickets are on sale now for this May 10th concert through Huntsville Festival of the Arts, which gets you access to the private Zoom presentation. If you're still not sure about this amazing duo, here's a bit of what you can expect during the virtual show. That's it for this week, but make sure to tune in again next week for some more awesome virtual shows.
Well, that's Cogeco News for today and for the week. For more information on the program, head over to yourtv.tv or connect with us on social media by searching Your TV Muskoka. You can find more details on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Remember, we are live at 5 Monday to Thursday, and from everyone here at Cogeco News, thanks for watching. Stay home and stay safe.